Peter Doocy and Phil Wegmann corner Karine Jean-Pierre with their line of questioning, and the Europeans have a massive energy crisis. All that and more here on The Paul Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Thursday, September 8th, and as always, I couldn't be happier than to spend these fine mornings doing The Bald Brad Show and hanging out with all of you, my friends and true American patriots, where we come together as a community of conservatives and Republicans, go over the stories of the day, and bring you all the news and information you need to know about. So if you want to join us here at The Bald Brad Show, and we hope that you do, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're over at Rumble, hit the plus and give us a comment down below. And if you're listening on any of the podcast airwaves, Apple, Google, Spotify, heck folks, you can listen to us anywhere and everywhere. Leave us a lovely 5-star review. Not only would you be helping a conservative, but most importantly, you'd be supporting getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So your help and support would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, we got a lot of video clips. We got the gladiator, Peter Doocy, sparring it out with Karine Jean-Pierre. We also have our man, Phil Wegmann of Real Clear Politics, also questioning Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House on a litany of topics. And lastly, the Europeans are having a massive energy crisis. And we're kind of seeing that crisis evolve here in California, as well as other places around the United States. And according to Karine Jean-Pierre, who's being questioned by Phil Wegmann, she doesn't have a clue that any of this is going on, folks. Wait till we get into that. Let's jump right into our lead story of the day with Peter Doocy of Fox News questioning Karine Jean-Pierre on a few range of topics. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Thank you, Karine. As refugees were being evacuated from Afghanistan into the U.S. last year, why weren't they all being thoroughly vetted?
So, are you talking about what are you referring to?
Well, so as the White House was managing the Afghanistan withdrawal last year, we were told no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process. But now there's this DHS Inspector General who says CBP admitted or paroled evacuees who were not fully vetted into the United States. That is not good. That is different than what you guys said. So how did this happen?
No, it's not different than what we have said. That very report, it did not take into account the key steps in that rigorous, you heard from us, rigorous and multi-layered screening and vetting process the U.S. government took before at-risk Afghans were permitted to come to the U.S. Again, I would refer you to the DHS comments on this. It did not take into full account of what the other agencies are involved in making sure that this multi-layered process and screening process, it is a multi-agency effort, and it did not. This particular report did not include that.
Okay, but so in the last week or so, we've heard the president calling elected Republicans a threat to the country. Does he think Maga Republicans are more of a threat to the country than people DHS says may pose a risk to national security and the safety of local communities?
Again, DHS has disputed this report. And it said it didn't take into account the key steps that we have taken as a U.S. government, the rigorous multi-layered screening and vetting process that we take as a government. That was not part of the report. Again, this report is not accurate. I know that our team has spoken to your team about this, and the DHS has provided a comment saying just that. So again, I refer you to DHS.
You know, I think there could be more pushback here from Peter Doocy. And if you recall, just, 20 seconds ago, she didn't give an answer, folks. She's telling Peter Doocy to refer to DHS when the question was talking about MAGA Republicans and basically correlating it to his first question, of which she didn't answer, referring him to DHS, and getting kind of what's the president's take on it. So I don't know why she's repeating her answers here, of which didn't answer the question in the first place. And it kind of seems like she's throwing the Inspector General of the DHS under the bus, furthermore, CBP as well under the bus, and telling us, oh, well, there's a rigorous process here going on. Folks, honest to God, do you really think there's a rigorous process going on? I mean, really, just look at the southern border. This is a lady that's telling you there's a rigorous process going on how they managed Afghanistan when she literally said people are not walking across the border. Does anybody believe this lady on what she says? I don't think so. Sure, I'm more inclined to believe DHS as well as CBP and others, sure. But you're going to tell me that it's a rigorous process when we don't have to look any further than our southern border and literally see 200 plus thousands of people, 200,000 plus people a month just walking across our border, some being apprehended and let loose, having the gotaways. It doesn't sound very rigorous to me when literally Joe Biden's offering them hotel rooms, they're getting cell phones, they're getting sheltered in front of other Americans like our veterans. I don't know, folks. Sounds a little sus to me. And whenever she's not willing to answer a question, it only becomes more suspicious on what's going on here. We already know that they apprehended, according to Alejandro Mayorkas on Brett Breyer's show on Fox News, they apprehended some terrorists. And if they only apprehended some, it makes you wonder, where's the rest of the terrorists at, folks? Are they in your city? Are they in your neighborhood? Are they just sleeper cells? When are those ones going to erupt? So again, we should all be worried about this. Because look at just the mismanagement and the handling of that Afghanistan debacle. And if that trickles down on the outside, can you imagine what's going on behind the curtain? Can you imagine what's being hidden here from the public? It's probably a lot, folks. It's probably a lot. So Peter Doocy, he didn't really have the juice today, folks. The Gladiator did not come out swinging like we were expecting. There's a lot of news to cover, and I think he could have asked better questions. I think there needs to be some follow-up and a little bit of pushback on his part. And maybe he's just playing the game here. I am sure there's a game to be played in that room with how you got to be a little forceful with some, you got to pick your battles with the others, and maybe today was just a battle he did not want to pick. Seemed like she was a little bit ready for those questions as well, folks. Seems like she knew it was coming, and there's a little bit of conversation between Fox News and her and Peter Doocy's team in terms of that report. Well, we also have our man here, Phil Wegmann. We got to get this guy, a nickname. You know how we gave Peter Doocy a nickname? We got to give Phil Wegmann a nickname. The Gladiator's already taken, but why don't we start something in the comments here at the Bald Brad Show and get this great man, this national treasure himself, a nickname? Because he goes here and asks her a litany of questions to the point where she couldn't answer any of them. And so he's going through his list trying to figure out what the hell can I ask that she's actually going to answer. His last question is a phenomenal one, folks. Let's go ahead and roll it. Again, this is Phil Wegmann.
Phil. And then I'll come back.
Just like Peter mentioned earlier on, I know that the White House is not going to comment on the specifics of the raid at Mar-a-Lago or the subsequent investigation. But I'm wondering, as the president watches this story play out in the news, just like every other American, does he think that the leaks about the investigation are helpful or harmful to the country? Does he want those leaks to continue or to stop?
I'm not going to comment on anything that's related to the investigation. It's an ongoing investigation. As you know, the Department of Justice is leading that investigation. We're just not going to comment from here.
And then one more then.
I just want to pause it here real quick. That was a layup of a question. And I'm not hounding Phil here. It was a great question. But for Karine, he gave you a softball right down the line. Easy question. No, leaks are not good. We shouldn't want those. There's an active investigation going on. I get that you don't want to comment on it. Fine, play that game all you want. But this doesn't have to really do with the investigation itself. It was the president's opinion on, hey, is it a good thing that there's things being leaked? No, probably not a good thing. So I don't even know why she would not be willing to answer this question. Maybe I'm missing something here. I thought it was a great question and a layup of one for her. The easy answer was just no.
Last Friday, the Energy Secretary said at Green Technology in California that state was in the lead and showing the rest of the nation how it's done. The state is currently bracing for blackouts. They've set ambitious goals, and yet in particular, their governor is asking folks there not to charge their electric vehicles. Does the president agree that California is an example for the rest of the country as it transitions?
I haven't seen those specific statements. I would like to see it in fuller context that the secretary has made. So I'm not going to comment on something that I haven't seen in full. But if you have another question, I'm happy to take.
Again, great question, because This whole administration is pushing this clean energy, climate change, global warming, all this other stuff, okay? That's our last segment of the day. We'll get to that in one moment with the European Union. California, where I live, is a poorly managed and ran state, okay? From the state itself to the localities. The Democrat Party has done a terrible job. And Phil is right here to call out California of, hey, the rest of the country, in terms of leftist-dominated areas as well as Democrat-ran areas, are looking to California to implement their policies. And California's grid sucks. And California, and I promise we're going to come back to Phil because this last question is one we want to zoom in on here. California's grid sucks. I have lived here for 33 years of my life. It's always been the same thing. This is nothing new. It's always hot around this time. This is nothing freaking new. And they sit there and they're throttling our temperature. They're turning off your AC at times. They're telling you to do all these things while our freaking governor is in a hat and freaking wrapped up in a nice little jacket because he's getting beautiful AC. Very similar to how he's at the freaking laundromat, this restaurant, while all of us are shut down. Your businesses are shut down. You're getting hit with violations, fines, some people thrown in jail, but he's going to go eat with all his rich elite buddies, all his Democrat and progressive leftist friends, while we all get screwed here. Very similar to what he's doing now. You're having all this stuff throttled. He literally said over Labor Day weekend to not charge your electric vehicles because the grid can't handle it. We were at level 3 yesterday. Level 3 is the highest it goes, I believe, in ISO for the state of California. Basically saying there's just going to be rolling blackouts. We can't conserve any energy. We're SOL. We don't know what to do. That's where we're at as the state, but it's greatly ran. They know everything they're doing. On top of that, they're trying to implement that all vehicles sold in California have to be electric at a certain moment in time. It's either like 2025 or 2030 or something like that. How are you going to implement that when you can't even freaking do what you already have? You have the Secretary of Energy of the federal government coming out just the other day saying we have to double our grid in order to obtain the type of energy that we need to sustain just the electric vehicles that everybody wants to plug in, that the government's basically forcing the hands. This is a phenomenal question. Baffling that she doesn't even know that's going on. I mean, everybody's been talking about it. You can look on Yahoo Finance. You can look on Real Clear Politics. You can look on the Daily Wire. You can look on almost every outlet. You got to be under a rock to know that all that stuff's not going on. Now, if you're on the Bald Brad Show and you don't know what's going on with the energy, not just in the United States or California or the electric vehicle, the power grids, you're living under a rock, folks. Let me tell you. I know you don't want to hear it, but for the love of God, you got to wake up. Because it has massive ramifications for you and I here, because our bill is going to go up. The price of lithium is going to go up. The price of graphite's going to go up. All these prices are going up. And when we get to the European Union in a moment, folks, they're literally burning wood right now to just get the energy that they need. They're trying to find old, like diesel type of generators to just get the energy going. This stuff is crazy, folks. It just shows you how dumb these climate changes are. Like AOC type of dumb, where they want to implement this Green New Deal. I want to get back to Phil Wegmann here. I'm going off on a tangent, but I just want to follow up with how big of a question that was, and it just kind of gets thrown in the trash. And again, it's mind-blowing that she just doesn't have an answer for that.
So, by my count, the White House, you've gotten a lot done this summer. Certainly, there's a
Really?
lot
Have we?
I think so.
I think we've said that a few times.
And the president has a lot.
And you guys have reported it too, so
The
you guys have
president-
backed us up.
Well, so all of your accomplishments aside, the president still hasn't done a sit-down interview in over 200 days. Is he dodging us? Is there a reason why? the
Oh,
president
absolutely
hasn't done-
not.
Thank you. I've been talking about this on the show for a while. Granted, I haven't been talking about a sit-down interview. I've been talking about getting that president's ass on that podium and answering their questions. Where's the guy been? Thank you. God, I've been waiting for somebody in that damn room to recognize, where the hell is this guy at? Where is he at, everybody? He is dodging you, Phil. He is dodging you, Peter. He's dodging all of you guys. And if you remember, everybody's giving Trump shit for if he would take a moment away. And this is supposed to be the most transparent administration that ever was on the face of this earth. Where's the sit-down meeting, Karine? Oh, he's not dodging you. He's dodging you. He's dodging you, man. To give you just a blunt answer, as an average American citizen that's not into reporting, that doesn't do it as a career, you guys are getting screwed, man. The guy should be sitting down with you, or at least somebody there in that room. He should be on that podium. I can't believe that more people aren't calling this out. This is crazy. Like you said, 200 plus days. Where's he been? And like she's going, oh well, he's answering your questions. No, he's not. No, he's not.
The president loves talking to you all. He takes your questions all the time. He took Peter's question last Friday. I'm sure Peter was excited about that.
I have another.
No, he took he actually, Ed, he took another question when we were traveling.
The sit-down interview is much different than when the president.
No, I hear you. The president's he is happy to.
He is exactly right. A sit down is way different than kind of off the cuff. A sit down interview or him on that podium without prepared questions, just fully ran, unedited. I want to see that man answer actual real questions. And there's only a handful of people in that room right now, this White House, that can ask good questions. And I'm highlighting two of them. Peter Doocy and Phil Wegmann are two guys that I actually trust that are willing to ask good questions. And by the way, I know that Peter's with the conservative outlet. I don't even know if Phil is a Democrat or Republican. And personally, I don't care. He asks good questions. That's all I care about. I just want to know what's going on. I don't care if the guy's a Democrat, an independent, Republican. I don't care. I just want the man to ask good questions, and he's asking a good one right now. And she's BSing us right to our face. Oh, yeah, he answers your questions. He takes the time with you.
To talk to you all. As you know, he does it multiple times during the week. I don't have a sit-down interview to announce or provide or schedule at this time. And look, you guys know Joe Biden. He's been a senator for 46 years. He was vice president for 8 years, and you guys have followed him and have had multiple conversations. Some of you sit-down conversations with him, and once we have something to share, we will share that. Okay.
Help me here. You know Joe Biden, the guy that's a reed in the wind that switched on like half his policies, used to be somewhat of a moderate Democrat. Now he's gone like full extremist here on his policies, spending more money than any president in U.S. history, has record-breaking illegal immigration with so many illegal immigrants coming across the border, more than any U.S. president has ever allowed since the inception of this country, has implemented one of the biggest spending bills on the side of the executive branch in American history. And she has a tenacity to say right there that he's had sit-downs. If I was a reporter in that room, I'd be so freaking frustrated. And kudos to all of those men and women for at least being somewhat professional. It's just the dodging of questions, the lack of answering these people's questions. Folks, I highlight this, and I do rip on the media a lot, but I do want to say that, and I've talked about this before, there are good journalists out there that actually take the time to come up with questions and craft it in a very specific way. They want to get their articles out there. They want to practice their First Amendment rights to free speech and get the American people the information they need to know. And it has to be as frustrating as hell to ask questions day in and day out and never get an answer. I don't know how they do it. It has to be frustrating as hell. I don't get it. Honest to God, I don't. But it was a good question because that president should be answering not just reporters' questions, but the American people's questions without it being vetted. I want him on that podium. As do all of you. I want to hear the president talk. He's my president. I know some of you might say, oh, well, he's not my president. Okay. Whatever. He's the president of the United States, you guys. I want to hear him talk. I want to hear what he has to say. Granted, it would create great content if he just fumbles through his words like he normally does and loses his train of thought, which he will. But I'm sorry. I want to see him there. I want to see Phil ask the president and do a sit down. I think Phil Wegmann, if I recall correctly, I think Trump gave him sit downs. I think a couple times. For sure one time. I know for sure once. And I'm going back in my memory. That's how long I've actually known about Phil. And I apologize, Phil. I just didn't know your name for the longest time. God forgive me. But, with Peter Doocy, Joe Biden hasn't done any of that, folks. Joe Biden hasn't done a freaking single thing here. And I don't get it. I don't get it. We all know why he's not doing it because the guy's not all up here, folks. He just doesn't have it together. With that being said, let's jump into our last story of the day regarding the Europeans resorting to burning wood amid desperate search for energy. And get this, Greta Thunberg is giving them kind of her whole charade. Oh, you losers. You're sick and despicable. You can't be burning wood. Well, she wants to limit them burning wood too. You can't make this up. You freaking A. This is the time we live in. These freaking leftist policies have just destroyed nations. As Europeans burn more wood amid an energy shortage ahead of the winter months, Greta Thunberg and other climate activists urge officials to discourage such activity in favor of solar and wind power. You want to hit your head against the wall. Folks, you don't have to be a genius to know that solar and wind just ain't going to do it. And you got to love that they're discouraging them from burning wood as we're about to go into the winter here, where it's generally overcast. There's not a ton of sun in the winter, depending on where you're at. And they want to push solar and wind. You don't even have to be a rocket scientist to know that there's not enough solar and enough wind power to power everything. And for some reason, they're still pushing this, but they don't want to talk about nuclear energy. Can't talk about that. That's too bad, even though it's some of the cleanest energy you could possibly produce. Energy prices in Europe have increased more than tenfold throughout 2022. This year alone. Tenfold in just less than a year. Amid the fallout from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Remember when the Germans and everybody laughed at Donald Trump because they wanted to do all these things? The European Union wanted to do all these things with Russia, and he's like, yeah, you're all insane. You're insane. Okay, are you kidding me? You're laughing now. I'll be sitting there in Mar-a-Lago laughing at all of you. And now it's happening. Now they just shot themselves in the foot, and it's going to be a cold winter, folks. Over the weekend, Russia severed natural gas shipments through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline until sanctions imposed by Western countries are amended. There's talks right now that once we hit the winter and you got people freezing, that a lot of this stuff is just going to go and evaporate because people want to stay warm. And I think Ben Shapiro talks about this of it's not so much people being hot right now that's killing them. It's the cold that kills human beings. It's the cold that gives the devastation. It's the cold that people are going to be pissed about. And that's coming in just a couple months here. We had companies in various parts of Romania, Hungary, Poland, and others reducing timber into wood pellets and exporting them to Italy, Germany, Austria, and other Western European nations, according to an investigation by the New York Times. Although Europeans subsidized wood burning over a decade ago as an incentive for households and businesses to reduce dependence on fossil fuels, wood pellets produce more emissions than coal. And where's all your coal? Why'd you get rid of the coal? Well, even if forests are allowed to regrow, using wood desperately harvested for burning will increase carbon in the atmosphere and warming for decades to centuries. As many studies have shown, even when wood replaces coal, oil, or natural gas, the reasons are fundamental and occur regardless of whether forest management is sustainable. Burning wood is inefficient and therefore emits far more carbon than burning fossil fuels for each kilowatt hour of electricity produced. You know what? When somebody's freezing their ass off, and it's depending on these emissions and staying warm and keeping their kids warm and stuff like that, forget the whole emissions at that point, okay? It gets freaking cold. It gets extremely cold, and they're whining and complaining about all this, including Greta Thunberg coming out. Says this, forest biomass takes minutes to burn, whereas it takes anywhere from decades to centuries for the climate and environmentally harmful tree plantations to sequester the carbon emitted. Again, this comes from Greta Thunberg. This equals decades of carbon debts that we do not have time for. It's all about time, right? We're going to die. The world's going to blow up on all of you. Screw you. You don't like carbon. You don't like this. You don't like green energy. Screw you. I'm trying to be nice. She's 19 years old, but geez Louise, man. Somebody just needs to wake her up. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of look back and be like, you're crazy, lady. You're freaking crazy. All of this, though, has led the European banks to do basically and conduct these stress tests that complete with backup generators and dim lights to determine whether their operations will be impacted by energy rationing, according to a Wednesday report. The move comes after Russia again cut off that natural gas pipeline, and basically the European Union is scrambling to address the energy shortages while natural gas prices increase more than tenfold once again, folks. Think about your oil gas prices increasing tenfold. Y'all would be pissed. We all knew it's coming. It's been going on since Trump's time. Trump told them. I know I'm repeating myself. Trump told them. And it just turns out a lot of things that Trump said would happen are all of a sudden happening. And nobody wants to give the man kudos because of the Mar-a-Lago raid. Everybody thinks he's a threat to democracy. The man knows how to run a country, folks. The man knows how to run a business. Leading banks, many of which facilitate transactions crucial to the European economy, are therefore conducting stress tests to determine the possible impact of rationed power supplies. If they're testing this, folks, that's basically saying, hey, this winter, we're going to start rationing people on their energy. Like I've said, I know I'm repeating myself, it's going to be a cold winter for the Europeans, folks. One person familiar with operations at JP Morgan Chase, which employs thousands in London and Frankfurt, told Reuters that the company has carried out powder outage simulations and could use diesel generators to keep offices running for multiple days. It's so weird. I was just told that we shouldn't burn wood and all these things because we want green energy. I was told just, a couple minutes ago in an article that we were supposed to have, wind and solar. Why are they burning diesel? I thought we weren't allowed to do that. I thought that was wrong. What about all the air that we're breathing? What about the trees? What about the environment? I was told we shouldn't do that. I was told we should plug in our electric vehicles, all the while the government at the same time tells us, hey, don't plug in your electric vehicles because our power grid can't handle it. Another source told the outlet that UniCredit, the second largest bank in Italy, tested the resilience of its data processing amid low power supplies. Meanwhile, Euronext, which runs the Italian and French stock exchanges, said it had reevaluated its energy consumption and processes backing up its generators. From its backup generators, rather. Swiss company Zurich Insurance Group is darkening offices and turning off decorative power consumers. Man, this is just company after company after company making changes. And if they're doing this, folks, it's probably coming. Several nations have already implemented energy usage restrictions or warned that such policies could be necessary for the coming months. While the legislature of Spain mandated that public air conditioning be set no lower than 27 degrees Celsius, to put that in Fahrenheit, that's roughly 80 degrees, 80.6, through the summer. Why have it on at all? I guess 10 degrees is much or more, depending on where you're at. French President Emmanuel Macron called for a 10% voluntary reduction in the nation's power usage to avoid last resort consumption limits. What do all these countries have in common? Oh, they're not really pushing conservative ideas, free market ideas, because now they're in this shitstorm here because of the policies that they want to push. And they will continue to push when they have massive ramifications. They can't even build a freaking energy grid knowing that it's going to be hot this time of year. We just got done talking under Phil Wegmann's segment that California, I've lived here my entire life. It always gets hot like this. It's not any news. It's not even a shocker. Sure, it might be like 5 to a few degrees higher than normal, but it's always hot. And they still can't figure it out. All the while they keep pushing all these ambitious, stupid agendas, and they can't even figure out how to do a power grid correctly. They can't even repair our roads correctly. Why the hell would I trust them with trying to figure all this out? I wouldn't. They suck at it, and they're going to continue to suck at it. They can't even figure out how to take care of our vets. They can't figure out how to get rid of the homeless population. I can go on for I can rant for hours. You all know where I'm heading with this. It's ridiculous. The problem with this is what you're seeing in Europe is going to happen here in America and already is in some states. I'm giving you a prime example. California did not have enough power yesterday to service their freaking citizens, the people in the localities. I'm one of them. ISO was level 3, the highest I've ever seen it. Didn't have enough power, rolling blackouts going on from anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours all across the state. But they have it all figured out, folks. Don't worry about it. Democrats will take care of all of you. If you believe that, you're a knucklehead, okay? Democrats suck. Government sucks. Government sucks at everything. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for watching the show here on the Bald Brad Show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Go over to Fox News. Give Peter Doocy some love over there. Read his articles. And don't forget Phil Wegmann at Real Clear Politics. Go show him some love as well. Give him the clicks that he deserves on their website. And folks, as well as us, don't forget us here to hit that like and subscribe button. Once again, share this link with your friends and family all over social media. And I will see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show.